Hi, my name's Martin. I'm from Co-Innovate Studio and the University of Brighton. So today I'm going to be interviewing Claire, and Claire has significant knowledge and experience as a fashion buyer. And we're going to be talking a little bit about that. So I'll go straight into my first question. So, Claire, tell me a little bit about your background and specifically about supply chain.
So I've been a buyer for just over 20 years in working for large corporate companies, and supply chain is a significant part of the buying process. Over the last 5 years, it's massively evolved. It was predominantly long lead time. We bought a lot out of China. But definitely more recently, we're looking at closer to home sourcing because the speed to market is essential. But also, people margin and prices is still absolutely key. So the supply chain is an integral part of any product development.
No, absolutely. So, so when you're looking at supply chains, tell me a little bit about kind of what sort of opportunities do you think there might be for smaller companies now entering into the fashion market in terms of bringing bringing new items into the market?
I think there's loads of opportunities for smaller businesses. I think there's a couple of key things that have been happening. Sustainability and definitely a climate change are key. So I think people are looking for more sustainable fabrics and also looking at the overall climate and the environment and where the product's coming from. I think they're really key. I think also looking at speed to market. So I think looking at, so people are referring to sort of, UK manufacturers possibly having a bit of a resurgence. Also, people have been doing lots out of Turkey, and you can get product very quickly from countries such as that. I think also looking at I think people want good quality. I think people are now looking for quality and product that lasts and uniqueness. And I think for a smaller business where you might only be doing minimum units, but somebody might think, okay, I want to pay more for that. I know exactly where it's been made, and also it's not going to be flooded throughout the market. And I think all of those sorts of things, and also it's so important to get a fantastic presence online. I think that's where retail's going. I think there's a lot of opportunity for online new online retailers. And also keeping it quite niche. I think finding who your customer is and what you want to supply to them, and really, getting the ultimate product to them.
No, I think that's really interesting. I think that in terms of sort of minimum quantities, what do you think sort of minimum quantity orders are? Especially, and I suppose the second part of the question is whether those quantities are outside the UK or inside the UK.
My experience, minimum quantities were always, having worked for large companies, was always sort of 300 to 500 pieces. And they would generally be made through sort of our close to home sources. So predominantly out of maybe Eastern Europe. We would get some through the UK, but predominantly would be with a smaller manufacturer, and you would generally pay more. My experience over the last sort of 12 months to 2 years is manufacturers are looking at doing 150 pieces, but you generally pay a little bit more for them. But I think suppliers now are cottoning on to the fact that, when you're supplying an online business, they want a quick turnover. Online business is now 24/7. So people see things so quickly, they buy it, they want something new, they buy it, they want something new. So I think, that the supply base is changing, and I think people are thinking differently. I think with regards to the bigger suppliers out of the Far East, Bangladesh, etc. I think that's a whole different ball game. But generally when you're buying from those countries, it's larger volume, and it's maybe at a keener price point. But again, that's evolving, and people are looking and thinking differently, because that is the way that the retail industry is going, definitely.
So with those sort of smaller quantities, do you think there's an opportunity perhaps for better quality or sort of niche products?
100%, definitely better quality. And I think really you could look at the whole product cycle. I think, the customer in many cases now wants to know where the product's been made, where the fabric's coming from, the trim, and also with sustainability and, looking at climate change, all of those sorts of things. And that, honest product is really, really important. And I think, people will pay a bit more. People want to pay a bit more and they want it to last. I think, this sort of fast fashion is always going to be there, but there is definitely a market for, for unique designs that are of a higher spec, and people don't want to see everybody else wearing it. They want to be different, and they want to pay a bit more, and they want it to last. So I think there's sort of two sides to that sort of side of retail at the moment, definitely.
So for smaller businesses, there might be an opportunity for looking at, I don't know, say that UK market, UK manufacturer, local markets.
Like made in the UK, and they're supporting local businesses, supporting local manufacturers, and, maybe looking at a fabric that's even woven in the UK, which would definitely be more expensive, but the quality, and they know exactly where it's made, where the yarns have come from. I mean, that's fantastic. There's definitely an opportunity for that.
No, that's 100%. Fantastic. I'm going to go on to my kind of final question, which is your nugget of wisdom. So if there's one thing you wanted to say to a small business looking to start in 2021 or to develop their small fashion business, what little nugget of wisdom might you want to give them?
Well, interestingly, I was watching an article on the BBC this week, and it was a new startup company, and the CEO of this new startup fashion company, her quote at the end was, "Fear is the only thing that stops you." So, if you've got an idea and you want to realize it, go for it, but just understand who your customer is, look at your pricing, get a clear critical path, but literally, fear is the only thing that stops us now, because I think, the world is our oyster, and it's an exciting time for retail. Although it's been a really challenging year, there are opportunities for, for something new, for people to do something different, which is exciting, really exciting.
No, I think it's fantastic. I think it gives me, it makes me feel kind of really good about the possibilities for 2021. And so, Claire, thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure.
All right.
Cheers. Bye-bye.